In this video we're going to create the basic HTML skeleton, so to speak, for our video player. As you can see, I'm already inside our player.html file, so let's get started. I'll make one gigantic div in order to contain the entire video player. I'm going to give this div an ID of video player. So I'll set the ID attribute equal to video-player. Or as a matter of fact, let's just call it player. Now this video player is going to contain 3 containers. So let's create 3 divs within this video player. Let's separate them by space. Now the first div is going to contain the actual video itself. So this is going to have an ID of video-container. The second div is going to contain the progress bar for our video player. So this will have an ID of pbar-container. And here pbar stands for progress bar. It's just a small shorthand. And finally, at the bottom, we're going to have a buttons container. And this is going to contain the play button and the pause button and so on. So let's get started by moving this entire video tag inside the video container where it belongs. And that's basically all about the video container. So the next container is the progress bar container. Now the progress bar container is also going to contain the actual progress bar. So let's create a div. Let's give it an ID of pbar for progress bar. Alright, now that's already the progress bar container. And finally there's the buttons container. Now the buttons container is a little bit more complicated, because it's going to contain those image buttons that I've provided you with. And the first button, the most left button that I want, is the play button. So let's add an image tag inside this buttons container, and let's set the source on that image tag equal to images/play.png. Alright, next let's add a div. And this div I'm going to call time field. What this field is going to contain is the how much time of the video has already elapsed. And it's going to be in a format like this, where this number right here represents the time that has already elapsed during while you're watching the video, and this number right here will have the duration of the video in total, so you can track how long you've been watching and how long the video is. Well, next to the time field I want another image, and that's the sound button image, which is this button right here. So let's add it in. I've already got my image tag, and I'll reference it as images/sound.png. Well, next to the sound button there will be another div, and this div is going to have an ID of sbar-container. And sbar stands for soundbar in this case, and this will be used to create a little bar which you can click in order to adjust the video volume. So let's also put the actual soundbar inside the soundbar container. And the ID with this is the same as with our progress bar container. There's a container for the bar, and there's the bar itself, which is inside. So let's give it an ID of sbar. Alright, next to the soundbar there will be a, let's see, I think the only button left is actually the full screen button. So let's add a new image, and let's set the source to images/fullscreen.png. And I think these are all the buttons that I want to add. And by the way, let's also add some IDs to these images. I will call the first one play-button. I will call the sound button, well, I will call it the sound button, sound-button. And let's call the full screen button the full screen button. Let's quickly take a look at this in the browser. If you save your file and open up your web browser and refresh it, at the top we see our video container. Then below our video container there's our progress bar container, but we can't see it because currently our progress bar container doesn't have any width or height. And below the progress bar container there's the buttons container. The buttons container contains all these images that we got right here. Now notice how these images are currently below one another, and that's because there are some elements inside our buttons container, which are divs. And divs have the property that they have a block display, which means that they all want to go on a separate line. So in the next few videos, we're going to style our video player and make sure that everything looks nice before we add the functionality with JavaScript. So I'll make sure to put all of the source code on cocotuts.com so you can take a look at it in case you missed something. And that's all for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.